Thank you, everybody, for joining us again for Chamber Chat. We are very pleased today to have a special guest today, Dr. Nathan Clem. He allowed me today to call him Nathan. He is my doctor as well. Dr. Clem, Nathan, thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. Like I said, we were just chatting, and this is like episode 30 or 40. So you guys are pros at this.
Well, we'll prove that or disprove that today.
That's right.
So if you would just kind of tell us, what is your business story? How'd you get started in chiropractic work and such?
Well, got started in chiropractic about 15 years ago. We've been in Magnolia since 2008. So, yeah, 13 years. So we've been here a while. We've been through one move. We used to be up on 34th by the grocery store up there, and Casper's, where Casper's is now, right across the street there. And then we moved down to the Inner Bay Work Lofts back in 2014, 2015, something like that. And we've been down here ever since. Um, Originally I got started in chiropractic just because, I can remember going as a kid. That's just kind of what we did as a family. I can remember my mom loading four kids up in the car and going to the chiropractor, and it's just kind of what we did. I can remember doing it as if somebody was sick or if I got hurt playing sports, that was usually the first place that we went to was the chiropractor. Save any like broken bones or serious injuries that were coming up, and most of the times that's kind of just what we did. In my own journey to be a chiropractor, that was just kind of where the trajectory took me. Is when I got to be high school age and I was getting into playing sports. I can remember, I was a sophomore in high school, and I was on the basketball team. I was starting varsity as a sophomore, and I remember that was a big thing. And I can remember I was really sick, and it was the beginning of the basketball season, and I knew that I couldn't miss school because if you miss school, then you couldn't go practice. And I was, starting over a senior who was supposed to be the starter, and I had the spot. So it was competitive, and that's how the 16-year-old male brain works. Is everything's about that. I
Right.
remember being really sick and driving myself to the chiropractor and went to go get adjusted. And by the time I got back out to my car to, drive back to practice after school, I remember I felt better. My head was clear. I was breathing easier. I felt lighter, and I just felt better. But I could also remember sitting in my car and being like, I can't tell anybody about this because if I tell everybody about this, then they'll go to the chiropractor and they'll feel as good as me, and then I won't be starting anymore, right? And that's again, right? That's just how the 16-year-old male brain works. But that was kind of my journey, right? That's just it was always involved, a part of our life, and for better or worse, I didn't know that not everybody didn't go to the chiropractor until I became a chiropractor. Um, but again, right, the chiropractors that we went to were just such a part of the fabric of the community, and that was a big thing that I wanted to be able to do when I became a chiropractor. Right? They sponsored the sports teams. They always had their name on the back of the 5K race. The chiropractor was always there, kind of supporting the community through various things, and that's just kind of what we wanted to recreate here as well. And over the years, I think that we've been able to do that. We reaching out in the community. I can remember one of the big things we always love to do is to sponsor the Little League teams here every year, except for last year with COVID. But that's always been something that we've been able to do. I've coached over the years as well. That was how I really got started in the community. Was when we started our practice here. I started coaching basketball up at the rec leagues up at Blaine School there, and coached football for the Inner Bay Eagles here as well. And that was always just such a big part of the process. Was we enjoyed meeting people like that, and I can still remember we still got families coming in who I met on my first basketball team that I coached 13 years ago. Right? That's how far reaching that sort of stuff has been able to be. And again, that's just being part of this community. I think is really one thing that we really set out to do, and just doing those sort of things has really continued to this day. So it's been really cool.
Well, I'd always been impressed with how many people seem to know Dr. Clem, and Me only living here for about 6 years, I had no idea that you were on 34th at one point. So
Yeah,
now
yeah.
the puzzle pieces are coming together. And I'm guessing that you probably disagree with 16-year-old Nathan and actually would endorse people telling others about how good they feel after they leave your office. Yeah.
I would. I would favor that now, and and I'm sorry to my my chiropractor back in Iowa, who I did not share that knowledge with. I protected that like gold, and I should give him a call and let him know that there's a reason that he didn't see anybody else on from my high school, is because I didn't tell him that that I felt so good from it. So I have kept that secret for a long time.
I expect you to write him a note when we're done here, by the way.
I think I will. It's funny that you say that. I should do that. That would be he'll get a kick out of that because he's still in practice, and yeah, he would get a kick out of that.
Very cool. So, what do you love about the industry that you're in?
Gosh, I think I was thinking about this, and over the years, it's just such a focus on health and not merely disease or the disease process, right? I think that chiropractic really focuses on how do we get more health, right? And I think that's can be such a powerful concept for people because a lot of the people that we see sometimes are not able to get healthy because they don't feel well, right? It's hard if you're low back is bothering you and you can't get out and go for a walk, or you can't get out and ride your bike, or you can't actually feel good enough to be active to get healthy, right? And I think that that's such a important kind of twist or concept that we can get out there is, I think that we were made to be healthy, and not merely just existing, waiting to be sick again. And that's always been a big part of our focus for sure.
That's a paradigm shift, I would imagine, for a lot of people.
It is, conversely against what's out there, right? We kind of wait to be sick and then we go treat the symptoms as opposed to putting in investment. And that's how I look at it is, we can invest in our own health. And what do they say? A pound of prevent or a pound of prevention is worth a ton of cure, right? And if we can put a little bit of time and effort into acquiring and maintaining our health, that becomes a lot easier because once you lose our health, I think that we start to realize how important it was. And people will pay a lot of money and spend a lot of time to get healthy once they get really sick. And I think that's an important concept, especially today, right? That's such a big thing today, is to be able to focus on our health and not merely just the absence of disease from that prospect.
Great point. So, you actually have been, you and your business, a member of the Magnolia Chamber for several years. How did that come about? Why did you decide to join the chamber?
Gosh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just it was the thing to do. I can tell you that the chamber's gone through a lot of change since you came on board. I can tell you that. And I think years ago, right when we first started, I think the chamber was typically kind of regulated to the village, right, and a lot of it. And I can tell you, just over the last years that you've been involved, there's been such a focus on acquiring all of Magnolia and also including all of Magnolia into the chamber. And so I really appreciate that aspect of it for sure. Because we're down here on 15th, and but again, we are part of Magnolia, and it's been nice to be included and get some energy going. And boy, right before COVID started, things seem to be going really, really good with the chamber as far as like events and get-togethers and things like that. So hopefully we can get a return to that.
100% agree. We seem to be in a really good stroke right about the time that it hit,
Yeah,
but we're still doing great, and we're going
yeah,
to bounce back. And it all comes down to having great members like yourself. That's what the chamber is all about: is the members, and each of them contributing what they can in knowledge and energy, and attending events, and networking, all that kind of stuff. So, for those who aren't familiar with the work loss and your position, can you kind of describe that location as well as how they would find you, say online, if you're on social media, those kind of things?
yeah. I'd say we're on most social media platforms at Discovery Wellness Center. I think DWC Chiropractic on Instagram. DiscoveryWellnessCenter.com is our website. Yeah, if you've never been down to the work loss, people are always, if they've never been and they walk in into the courtyard, people are always really amazed at the courtyard when you walk in, especially this time of year when the sun's out and everything's in bloom. There's a nice kind of deck uh, garden area there that our door opens out onto, and it's great to be able to just have that door open during the nice days and people walk in, walk out, lots of fresh air. But yeah, it's very quiet inside. But yeah, the workhouse is just the building to the south of Whole Foods on 15th, right by the Magnolia Bridge. We've got parking on the south end there and street parking as well. So access is super easy.
Absolutely. So to go again against 16-year-old Nathan, I will say I've seen Dr. Clem now for what, 2.5 months, something like that.
Yeah, right there.
I feel incredibly blessed to be going there. The amount of pain that I was dealing with compared to today, it's night and day. So I wholeheartedly endorse going to see Dr. Clem and not just living with the pain, which is the
Yeah,
tendency for many
yeah,
of us is to live with it or mask it with some kind of medicine. So
for sure. Well, we need to thank your wife as well, right? She told you she had some good advice for you. It seemed like when you first came in, and it's been a good team. It's been a good team effort.
absolutely. Well, Dr. Clem, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for the energy that you bring to the chamber and the good work that you do.
Well, again, I thank you very much, and thank you for about your leadership and corralling all these different members and getting everybody together. It's been a great couple of years.
Awesome. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. You too. Bye.